My friends, hello and welcome to GoldenEye SpeedLore. Tonight, my friends, a special topic indeed. One that perhaps we've tangentially touched on here and there over the years, but one that's becoming more and more important as we approach the event horizon of GoldenEye optimization. Can GoldenEye's final barrier be broken? The total time of GoldenEye speedruns, that being if you add up the world record time on all 60 of the game stages, currently sits at 1 hour, 10 minutes, 25 seconds as we see here. Will this time ever drop to 109.59? Will we break the 110 barrier? And what about each minute barrier break that got us to this point here? Well, indeed, that is exactly what we are going to examine tonight, so settle on in and enjoy this viewing of GoldenEye SpeedLore. Now, to really understand the early stages of GoldenEye and how frequent these barriers would fall, each minute being cut from the game, we will go back to the earliest possible rankings, the world record database from 1999. Let us take a look here. So, in 1999, when the first rankings were published, the overall time was 1:43:21. That's quite a far cry from where we are now. But you'll see in a lot of these cases, like for example, Wouter's Archives Agent 18 apparently got down to 142. But in a lot of cases, like Train 00232 cut 43 seconds off the record and broke another minute barrier to 141. It's possible this is like what happened in reality, but it's more likely that the assortment of times was so scrambled and so constellation-like that we just didn't have all the times orderly listed anywhere. And so, especially when Wouter joined, a lot of people couldn't believe the times he was claiming, although he would go on to prove it with video. And so he probably, this Train 00232, I would bet that the best known time was 3:15. Within the group of a half dozen or a dozen people who had been involved in the earliest days of the elite community. But then once Wouter submitted his times, it fell down significantly. And so a lot of the early barrier breaks are basically that kind of thing. Wouter and others submit, look, this Graham Folds submitted a Control 005 minutes, which cut 48 seconds off of the world record, or Sterling Aztec 00249, which cut 2 minutes off. And so there's not too much that we glean that is, it's cool to look and see these earliest foundations of the history of the game, but we don't really glean too much in terms of the significance of these barriers being broken all the way back then. And even in 2000, we see some, the rankings have started to consolidate a little bit. We have a good collection of times that are probably the world records, probably the best known times in the game. But even so, Wouter, Jungle 00115, cut off 6 seconds and brought us into 127. There is unfortunately no video available for that time. Likewise, if we keep scrolling down, Sterling, Surface 100, 155, brought us into 126. No video available for this time. It's kind of fascinating how it's still his time ranked. He never improved that time from 2000, despite being active in the community, mind you. So that's interesting. And yeah, so 2001 is where we start to get some stuff where there are videos and there are some notable runs to be shown. And we have a very cool ancient thread, which we are going to dive into in a few moments. It's pretty epic. So 2001, we can see Wouter Silo 00141 cut 12 seconds to get 125. I would say that's probably doable. It's reasonable that in 2001 the record was 153, and Wouter just was the first run to risk a lot on the stage and like skip a lot of guards. And like he probably got a 12-second untied back then. Like I can see, it's not like there was a better unknown time someone else had out in the universe. But again, Welder is 141, no video, sadly. We scroll down to the 124 barrier. Sterling Silo Agent 109 cut 2 seconds off. Yeah, you can definitely see that as well. And but again, unfortunately, no video. I think there's one more barrier break where there was no video. Yes, this Tim Grenby Caverns 00 251. Unfortunately, no video. But we can see here Caverns was the subject of a lot of development in the early years in 2001. So, you know, we can see Tim Grenby got 251 up here. We can see Carl Jobst got 245 here, cut 6 seconds off. He cut a further 11 seconds off only 2 days later. So he probably had a 17-second untied there. And then Steve Foy, 225, Carl, 214. But the run to bring us into the 122 range was Wouter's Caverns 00 208. Believe it or not, all the way back then, June 2001, some viewers were not even born yet. We do have video footage of this thing that happened all the way back then. Hard to believe. So let us take a look at this Wouter Jansen Caverns 00 Agent 208. Now, my estimation is, and I'm muting the background because it uses like the James Bond From Russia with Love theme, and so that would unfortunately cause strife with the YouTube censors. But my estimation is going to be that the reason why Caverns 00 went from like 251 to 208 pretty quickly in only a course of a few weeks was because the guys finally had the confidence to run the entire level and beat Trevelyan to the end of the stage. That was usually, you take it 3 minutes and slower, you can play it kind of like a noob would play it, and, you know, Trevelyan beats you up the ramp, up the spiral here, and you slowly, you know, clear out all the rooms and complete the objectives. But my bet is that Grenby and Carl and Steve Foy and all those would beat Trevelyan to the ending, and so this appears to be what's going on here. So Wouter needs to destroy these consoles. This is objective B. He also needs to grab a key card from that guard. Now, interestingly, he's exiting the way he came in this objective B room. So we no longer do that today. We run through the hallway that connects the objective B room and the radio room, but he is running here. It's kind of amazing you can get 208 this way. I wonder, like, it would actually be a really interesting thing to see how good of a time you could get these days with this route. So he runs into the radio room from here. He presses B at the oh, look at, and like even he knows to lure a scientist away from that area, shooting near him to scare him, and then, you know, let him leave the vicinity while the you know, so he doesn't pass away in the fire, in the explosion of objective C. And yeah, so we can see Wouter basically got to that corridor at the same time as Trev, and he beat him to the ending, 208. Quite a lot of time had been falling off of the level at this point. Let's see, can we even see it zoomed in? 208, I mean, I can see it. Wow, that is simply amazing and wonderful as far as I'm concerned. So that was a really remarkable time. Wouter got, yeah, so from Grenby's 00 251, that was May 1701, and that Wouter run was June 4th. So that's in a period of 2 weeks, they cut 43 seconds off the stage. That's a lot of time to cut off the stage, you know? In a period, like, and that really shows you how unoptimized games are in their early stages. You know, I kind of always drive this point home when doing lores and speedrun content, but people love to say, oh, our game, it's been out 6 months, like this is the max time, it's so optimized. And it's like, my friends, my brothers in Christ, it is simply not the case. You know, GoldenEye was 4 years old at this point, and still they had cut 43 seconds off a stage in a matter of 2 weeks. You know, so that kind of shows you the story at hand. I want to see the previous Caverns 00 time, you know. Let's see if I can find it here. So, okay, so Schwarty's claimed a 255 in 2000. I'll let you be the judge of that. Well, so that is a good point, Olmec, is that, like, in 2001, the communities were less cohesive, fewer people were involved, so it would have taken longer to optimize back then than today. That's 100% true. But at the same time, a game does not get optimized in 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 years. And, I mean, not even maybe in 20 years, as we'll see. So that brought us into the 122 range, and then 121 happened later that year as well. And a lot of time was cut really just 1 second at a time. So we can kind of see, you know, Water had a 6-second untied with Caverns 00 there. And then most of the untieds here are just like 50 or 60 untieds, 1 second at a time. Oh yes, okay, so Jorty's claimed Control 00 Agent 425 back then. Again, you be the judge. In my opinion, it's one of the least believable times on these historic rankings. But in hindsight, it is important to keep it, I would say, in the history books, because it is a formative experience in the game's history. You know, Grenby got a Train 00 213 4-second cut. Very nice. The total time was at 122.02 after Carl got the legendary Runway SA-23. But then Wilder would get Frigate 00114, a 4-second cut on a very difficult stage. And this is an absolutely legendary time. A time that still holds up, I think, decently well today. Let me take a look here. What's 114 worth today on Frigate 00? It might be worth nothing, but it certainly was good. It's still worth 28 points. It's not bad. So November 11, 2001, he got Frigate 00114. This is a remarkable record. And we're going to dedicate to a SpeedLore champion, of course, because this is such a legendary record. This one goes out to our SpeedLore champion, 4-Day Bender. A huge thanks for supporting SpeedLore on Patreon, 4-Day. And, yeah, I mean, this run was so good, it's captured with game sound as well, which is cool. It would take, you know, a long time to get tied and a long time to get beaten. It was one of the early, I would say, of, like, the 2001 era, it was one of the best records of that time. And we can see he uses a route we no longer use on 00. He uses the 2 agent hostages first, then gets these 2. I wonder if he goes and frees the engine room one. And I also, so he does, and I also wonder, like, I mean, for 2001, Martin scores AZ, absolutely. I wonder how fast, oh my god, he eliminated the slowest hostage. That is really fascinating. And then instead of warping the pipe, perhaps the pipe warp wasn't known or not yet integrated into the strategy. He goes out the back door and throws the bug here. I really wonder what, like, a top player today could pace with this route. I really wonder that. Nice pause. Bomb diffuser. And, like, it's a very clean run from Butter. You need, you know, the 1 in 1,000 luck of the hostages completing, which they do in the fade out. Insane. But, like, there were certainly points in the run where, you know, his gameplay was not up to the same standards we have today. It was very solid. It was an untied that lasted a long time. But, you know, a player today could do better with modern movement and more practice, you know, 20 years more practice. And you would skip eliminating that guard on the right there, for example, like we do nowadays on this stage. So yeah, I really wonder what you could pace with this. Now, I believe this route has like horrible hostage completion odds. Like the odds of them completing are worse than what we have today. But I really do wonder, could someone pace a 110, a 109 with this strategy? It might be a fun... I believe there's a fun day coming up called Frigate Day, where everyone plays Frigate for no reason at all, in fact, but they just do, because it's fun and epic to see if anyone gets to completion. And I wonder, perhaps if someone gets bored enough, will they use the old Wouter 114 route and see what they can pace? It'd be kind of a fun little side... little side story, you know. Play Frigate and see if we can get. It's a very cool run by Wouter, legendary in fact. 114 Frigate 00. Let me pull up the database here. I think it remained untied for 2 years, maybe 3. Let me take a look. Like a boss spent like 100 hours going for this time back in the day. Frigate 00. It would take a little more than 2 years for Boss to tie it. I believe Boss used the same route. So a very unlikely completion route. And then anyone who got 114 after that and then lower used the more modern route that runners today would be more familiar with. Wow, shout out to Irie, who got 104 as the world record recently. Very, very impressive. Oh my dear, Boss does not have any history on the state. What? Dude, is this a glitch? Boss on the rankings here doesn't have like his past Frigate 00 history. That's so weird. Has this glitched out? Oh my god, where did it go? Did they eliminate the history? Are the rankings broken? This is a true mystery that must be solved. Yeah, the rankings are broken, I think, is the case. I'm completely stunned, shocked, and in awe. It used to list on the side all of your past times. Like if I click, like look, if I click on one of these past ones, right? We can see, you know, this Silo 00, it lists all of Wouter's times on the side that he had achieved up to that point. And for whatever reason, the rankings right now are just, like, broken. Maybe Joris is, like, updating the rankings as we speak. But, like, that's so weird. Like, that is, like, shockingly weird. Well, it doesn't use that much space, because there's only, like, 1,000 players, and so there's, like, less than 100,000 times saved, and so it's like not a huge data sync. But yeah, anyways, not the biggest deal in the world. The point is, Wouter broke the barrier with 114, got 121.58, and that is what's important here. So, something that is substantially interesting is that I found this thread. Maxed levels. A gentleman by the name of Garrett, who was a very good LTK player, made this thread in June 2001. So he asked a question that we often ask ourselves. What does everyone think are the maxed times for each level nowadays? And we get some very epic responses in here. Like, this is, if you know the game, this is going to be hilarious for you. Octo Inky predicts Dam 53, Agent 119 SA, Dam 00202. Not bad. Facility 49, 58, 58. Octo predicts Runway 22 and says, remember Zebo. I guess Zebo might have had like a really good run. Is Bunker 117 possible? Streets 115, 158s. Statue 227s. Maybe Archives 57 is maxed. Oh, and then look, he actually meant Dan 54. And Garrett himself says Dan 54. Facility 49, 58, 58. Runway 23, in fact. Surface 1, 105. Egypt 49s. Very Depot 27. Okay, that's important. Depot 27. We got some similarly epic Preds here. Eddie Lovins, very, great top 10 player in his own right back in the day. He thinks Statue 226 is possible and actually would become the record at some point before the Trev shot was invented. Train Agent 109 or 108, pretty insane. Here, there was some really, really good posts. I'm going to try to see if I find one down here. Oh, Carl thinks he can get Surface 1, 153. I don't see how that's possible. Carl would get 153, in fact, and the record is now, 6 seconds even faster. Here is a great post from Wes McKinney, one of the earliest founders of the rankings. Runway 23. Sorry guys, 22 isn't possible and never will be. Facility 50, 59, 59, long shot. We are now 8 seconds faster on all difficulties. Depot 27, Egypt 50s are maxed. And there's another great post from West down here. Garrett, I know for a fact 27 is the max on Depot Agent. 26 just isn't physically possible. It's truly amazing. It's a blast to look through these threads. I think that was the post I was thinking of. It was Garrett who made the post. 27's the max on Depot Agent. And the West post saying runway 22 isn't possible and never will be is really funny, because this guy went on to create a software library called Pandas. I think I've been over that in the previous episode. So a very intelligent guy making a very well-known software library for the Python programming language. Extremely intelligent man. And yet the early days of GoldenEye speedrunning still befuddled this man, thinking that runway Agent 22 was not possible. However, he would, 21 is now possible, and 2 people have it. So, yeah, it is really wild. I mean, a lot of these guys have crazy stories, old edition, and so it's remarkable and funny stuff. And I tell you, this will not be the last of these sorts of threads that we will browse through tonight. So let's carry on to 2002 here. And we see that, some good deal of time is being cut. And actually, a significant amount of time gets cut one way or another. And the one way it gets cut is because a new strategy is discovered, of course. 2002 was the year that a gentleman by the name of Big Boss Man would email one of the creators of the rankings and let him know that he discovered a new strategy on Aztec. Now, there's no video of Wouters' Aztec 225, which was like an old run. But we do have an even older run of 241, which we'll watch. And on this run, he actually uses the old strategy before the glass lure was invented. So in this run, you had to go into the basement and eliminate Jaws and get his key card to beat Aztec. And so we'll watch this. It's important to, as the canon of the game, it's important to understand why the glass strategy saved so much time, because that is the driving element of the next minute or so being cut from the game. The game is getting to a point where 5 years in, that it's getting relatively optimized, for in its context, and so you need new strategies to improve some of these times. So he went over here, he lured Jaws to come into this area, and now he's headshotting Jaws about 30 times, has to reload once, headshots him 6 more times, grabs his smart card and his double air 33, and now he's going to go warp up this gap. This used to be how everyone played Aztec. Up the gap. Usually you can switch weapons, but I think because he's playing PAL, it was like super laggy. And he was able to not switch weapons there. And another thing about this technique is that when you eliminate Jaws, it begins spawning. It's really funny that that guard was stuck because like we like that today because we use it to get the glass open. But it's funny how it was like a problem back then. You start spawning 3 laser guards who wield dual lasers, and like they're really like trouble to like just beat the stage casually. They're kind of scary to deal with. I think one came over there maybe. And that happens the moment you eliminate Jaws. And so like it's actually like really scary to play Aztec with eliminating Jaws. There he is. Almost shot him almost took damage off the double laser guy. But yeah, this is how we used to play Aztec, which is pretty epic. Welder's going to pause here. Welder is just going to run the last room, which is kind of epic. Kind of ballsy for 2000. This was early 02. Yeah, takes a lot of damage, almost passes away, gets back to the safety of the vents. And then because he was like clearing out the vents over there, you could, he can just return to safety, and he's like going to survive the last 20 seconds here. But yeah, extremely difficult to survive a run this way if you played the level you would know yourself. And the strategy that was discovered would save a lot of time and make it easier to survive. So it's like a double whammy, you know? You get more consistency and more faster. Aztec 00241, ostensibly. You can kind of make it out, I guess. But yeah. So 2002, Welder lowered the, broke the 122 barrier with his Frigate 00 run. A few guys are getting some decent times here. But then, on June 27, Boss's Aztec glass door technique is revealed. He's found a way to make it work, and so we see a ton of untied world records flowing in. Greg Wool gets an 8-second untied, Viter Miranda 4-second untied, so on and so forth. Welder would break the barrier with Aztec 225, but because he knew that he could get lower, he could get 207 a little bit later, he'd never made a video of that 225. Unfortunately, it'd be interesting to have, historically. So over the course of 1 month here, these are all Aztec records except for this one. We've gone from 121.20 to 120.23. So we've cut like a minute off of the overall time in the course of 1 month on one level. Like, that's pretty insane. I guess what's even more insane is that literally happened last year in Perfect Dark. Like, that's really crazy to think. That kind of thing was discovered in 2021 in Perfect Dark. But yeah, when you look at it in the context, it is insane. It was it was like one of the greatest gold rushes ever in history of speedrunning, Like, how many different people got on tides on Aztec? Welder, Carl, Matthijs, Graham, Grenby, 5, Viter, Vince, and Greg. 8 people got on tides. That was probably like 50% of the people playing at the time, so that's pretty impressive. We do a video of Welder's Aztec Agent 143, so we'll watch that. Actually, you know what? This is a great opportunity. Aztec Agent 143, a very epic untied. It was sort of the grand finale of all these Aztec runs in 1 month. We are going to dedicate it to our newest SpeedLore champion, TJ Eschke. TJ, a legendary thanks for supporting SpeedLore on Patreon. This run is indeed dedicated to you. Let's take a look. So obviously it's Agent in this case. Welder's just going to run the first room, hope to survive. On Agent, Aztec Agent is probably as challenging to survive as most 00 Agent levels, but because you play it so aggressively. No, they did, VC. They definitely did, but the thing is, we're not, just by chance, we're not showing those runs. If you go back and watch SpeedLores, you'll see a lot of good quality runs from back then. So water creates a bunch of noise, lures like 3 or 4 guards. This used to be like a standard practice too. You'd stand at the glass and shoot backwards to eliminate those guards who are going to harm you. Guidance data. Glass is open. Run in, baby. There we go. He's going to run to the end. Upload the launch protocol data. There's a guard there. We paused really close to the vents. He gets back boosted. Twice, in fact. What was your only record, old edition? Oh my god. Very low health. Gets hit. And now he has to survive. Oh my god, he's doing the full reversal. That is extremely ballsy, but he makes it to the body armor. I never heard that before. It's possible it's in Dutch, if anyone knows what he said. I'd love to know. Oh, yeah, so once he got the body armor, he's, like, gonna survive for sure. So he just comes out here for fun. Why not? That was a pretty big swag moment, I would say. Aztec Agent 143. That's pretty impressive. That was a great world record. And yeah, the kind of culmination of, 1 month of Aztec madness. I wasn't around at the time. It would have been incredibly insane to see what it was like back then, So, very epic stuff. Now here's what is interesting, right? We're at the 120s in the GoldenEye total timer. If you had to guess which world record in 2002 broke the 120 barrier, could you guess a time? Well, perhaps the way destiny works sometimes. The time to do it would be what would become one of the most legendary untides in the game's history. We can see Big Boss Man is starting to appear. Statues, couple untides, and indeed, the time that would break the 120 barrier was none other than damn Agent 53. I think that really drives home the legendary status of the time. Osterland got Surface 1104 that same day. Boss even got Surface 152 that same day. And Streets 0056. And then got Dan 53. Yeah, you sure did, Burazu. Insane, yes. And so, given that Dan 53 would go on to become the most tied record ever in GoldenEye history, and all of the sort of hype that went along with it, and then Dan 52, this is just like an extra little bit of lore that makes the Dan 53 so remarkable. And so we're going to watch that original Dan 53, and we're going to dedicate this Dan 53 to our SpeedLore apotheosis, E Street, incredible supporter of SpeedLore. A huge thanks, E Street. Enjoy this legendary dedication run. Big Boss Man's damn Agent 53 in all of its glory. We got some good left ear glory as well, just like the good old days. It's not complete left ear, but it's certainly leaning heavily that way. And so, did he get a boost? I don't know if he got a boost there. They just like need one insane boost for it? Pretty insane. You know, he got it. He must have got an early boost, right? Yeah, so we got the one early boost off the bat. That's right. It was kind of speculating like what would be the needed for Dan 53. Is it possible? Obviously, Boss was one of the earlier users of Control Style 1.2, which certainly helped. And he was on NTSC, which certainly helped, even though like we didn't really know it that well. I know, right, Mark Adam? That's what I'm kind of like. That's what's I'm kind of, you know. It's possible it's a dupe, but it looks in the original quality, you know. Let's take a look here. I suppose the quality just like kind of you get so far away from the previous quality that like maybe this is like 2010 quality instead of 2002 quality, right? But it still looks old to us. Let's see. We're gonna find the original for sure. Damn 53, very impressive. 1.2. Vid link below is this. It says this is the original Dan 53. That's the one I just saw. This is another 1.2 and that was linked below. This one seems way more modern. Hold on, I know exactly where to find this run, okay? We're gonna go to Speed Demos Archive GoldenEye. It says it can't be downloaded securely. That's really, really funny. Let's see here. One boost there. No, that was it, man. That was it. This is the one on Speed Demos Archive. That was the run, no doubt about it. Yeah, that's the run. Isn't it crazy how, like, you know, time wears on us all? But yeah, that was the run. 1-0. Boost ratio. Nailed the beautiful, legendary Dan 53. It really is, terrain aside. I mean, that is certainly a Mandela effect if I've ever known one. I mean, the quality kind of does look better than 2002. Could he have had it recaptured? I'm gonna look at the description in a minute here. Does the original Dan 53 no longer exist? Like, literally, the one that I just downloaded from Speed Demos Archive, like, should be that one, you know? It's this same video. No, look, original run. Dude, this is the craziest. I can't believe we've discovered a Mandela effect while playing, while doing a lore. It's Boss's original channel, original run. This was his original Dan 53. Our memories of a 2-0 Dan 53 being the original one. I'm actually kind of having like a crazy mind meltdown. Because you're right, like I remember the color toning, the color grading being different. I'm simply stunned. Another 1.2 run that was linked for many years in the rankings was this one. And this was just a random one from 2011. That's only 1.0 as well. Oh my god, you know what? Just for the sake of it, I'm going to dig up... I don't even know if I can dig up his original post, his original world record post. It was September... '02. So that one is not it. Post new world records here. I'm looking for the world records thread. Discussion, videos, discussion, post new. Yeah, that's crazy. I think we're all stunned at how we've... Right, Jazzworthy? But, like, I literally downloaded from Speed Demo's archive, which wouldn't have been updated after, like, 2006, really. And it was the same run it was the same run. It was this run. Unbelievable. Not this one, this is the clean one, but yeah, it was this run. Like, I remember, like, the Jimbo, you'd almost have, like, a red stripe of, like, coloring aberration there. But yeah, wow. What an experience to go through on this episode of SpeedLore. Well, anyways, one way or another, Boss got the 53 legendary time, 1:19:59. Insane. And, you know, the world records kept falling, usually 1 second, 2 seconds, you know, if that. What were the 2 seconds here? Jungle and Jungles, yeah, it makes sense. In 2003, we would see, again, a little bit here and there, a little bit here and there. Wouter somehow got Aztec 00156, which is a legendary time. Like, we watched that in the Aztec SpeedLore for sure. It was like a center point. Unbelievable record. I think that might be where we left episode 1 of Aztec SpeedLore. Wouter's 156, because it's one of the most iconic... It was the run that I watched on Speed Demo's archive that, like, got me into running GoldenEye, because I was so shocked at how he pulled it off. Unbelievable. But the time that would break the barrier, in this case, to get to 1:18 now, about a year later, well, six months later, actually, Wouter Bunker 200107. That's pretty impressive, is it not? Let us take a look at this Bunker 200107. I mean, it's kind of insane to think 6 months is, what, 180 days? So, to cut a minute off in 180 days, you're talking an untied every 3 days. But that's what Boss and the Wouter mainly, and a couple others, but mostly Boss and Wouter were pacing throughout that time. Like, that's incredibly, incredibly impressive that they cut that much time in 6 months. But they did, and the time to beat it was Bunker 200107. We're going to watch this run, and we are in fact going to dedicate to a SpeedLore champion, the one and only FC Bojangles. A huge thanks, FC Bojangles, for all your support of SpeedLore on Patreon. Let's take a look at this Wouter Jansen classic. This would definitely have been played on PAL, and the jail cell door is notably slower on PAL. He also uses a route that was no longer used after about 105, I think, or maybe 101. Yeah, maybe 101. Nowadays, well, for a while, you would lure a guard with the clipboard to a point closer to you, but in this case, he kind of does like a 2 laps of the bunker. Like, he was already at this point, and now he's going to go deeper and get the clipboard over here. But still, this was an untied world record, and it was the time that brought us into the 1:18 on the total time of the game. So it's pretty impressive, nonetheless. Again, like, back in 2003, that was a great last camera. I mean, today, if you watch, someone like Ace play, that's, he would have got it from 10 miles away, but very impressive, Bunker 2, 00 Agent 107. What a time. That was pretty damn cool. Very clean run through the entirety of the bunker and nailed the 107, which was a 2-second untied. So 109 was the previous record, and it was held by, I want to say it was probably him or Boss, but I'm just going to scroll up and double check. It was actually Randy B. Randy B had 109, and Wouter would have skipped over 109, over 108, and got 107. That's pretty impressive. And Boss would tie the 107 by the end of the year. Would we cut another minute off the total time by the end of the year, however? It looks like we would. It looks like we would. So again, March 30, we broke the 118 barrier. November 1st, we broke the 117 barrier. So again, that's almost exactly 7 months at this point. It's like pretty much the same pace. And it's pretty much all Wouter and Boss. Graham Morris was like the third ranked player at this time, and he got a few records. He really got the notable Caverns 148, which is sort of like, let's watch that 140 actually. It would have been the first one, because it cut so much time. It's like significant in the context of the barrier breaks, It was the biggest time cutter in there. It would have been the first run to, 11 second untied world record when set. Pretty insane. It would have been the first run to go in like the middle alleys of the Caverns. Like, maybe not the first one, but like, the first meaningfully performed run. Because on the Wouter run that we watched earlier, he went like all the way around. And that was, what, a 207? So I kind of wonder if, if this is a 148 and we can do like 20 seconds better now, it makes me wonder if like you could get 145 going the old Wouter style route. It seems reasonable. Yeah, isn't that crazy, Burazu? The next one we're going to watch that broke the barrier was Boss on Dam with 119. It's pretty insane. Insane mine toss. Oh my dear. And so yeah, where Wouter would have gone back out and along the catwalk, Graham went here. I mean, geez, surviving this run, he only has like half health. It's pretty impressive. He shoots in there. Oh my god, no hits. It's so, like, lucky. Like, it's obviously a lot of skill to get runs like this. But then, to not get hit all is so lucky. Then he takes one hit from the drones. You can take two. Pretty easily, sir. Oh my god, that was insane. Like, one hit from opening that radio room door to here. Like, this is one of the most legendary runs in the history of the game. No doubt. Let's see here. One of the most legendary runs in the history of the game. That's for damn sure, baby. No one commented on it until now. It's been up for 10 years. Can you believe that? So yeah, that cut 11 seconds, which was the biggest cut on the way down from 118 to 117. And then, of course, like, once Wouter saw what Graham did, isn't that insane? Like, this is what we would call in today's age speed bullying. Graham Morris gets Caverns 148 on an 11-second untied. It's unbelievable. Wouter, whose skill is probably a little bit better, higher-ranked player, sees what Graham did and says, you know what, I'll do that too. And beats it by 4 seconds a week later. Graham barely had a week to enjoy his insane untied. That is classic, if I gotta say. Yeah, and then two more. And in the Caverns 00 episode, that 142 is like one of the most iconic records. I think in GoldenEye history it's up there, in fact. That 142. But the 117 barrier was broken by, of course, none other than Boss on Damn Secret Agent. And that is the run we're going to watch right now. This one's cool because I'm sure this was captured by Jimbo. See, this is the color grading that I remember from Jimbo. This kind of reddish tinge, you know? These VCR... I don't know what you... I don't know if there's a technical word for like the VHS effects, artifacts. But this is what I remember. And you can hear Jimbo like sitting down in his squeaky chair as soon as he like hits record on this. Okay, so listen closely. It's epic. This is a pretty good run. While he doesn't even headshot the guard, nowadays you always headshot him because it doesn't lose time. It like probably reduces a little bit of lag. But back in 03, you know, you just do it. You just do what you do, baby. Go through here. Well, Dovetail, it's a great point. I hope you are able to stick around to the end of the episode because that is kind of what the end point of this episode is like, are there records today which simply will not be beaten? You know? We'll see. Boss strafes here, shoots 5 times, backs up in the last two shots. It's true, Olmec, and I wonder if that's like our generation thing because we grew up with it. It's like nostalgic. Like I wonder if Zoomers also find analog, static, and VCR effects to be comforting, you know? So this is decent. It's not like completely insane like we would later see, but like this is a very solid run. This 119. Indeed, welcome to the stream era area. We're about halfway through tonight's SpeedLore, so it's a good time to join. $119, pretty good run. Okay, so yeah, the next run to break the barrier is actually like a really insane run. So again, 2002, 2003 especially, we're still in the kind of straight welder boss era. I mean, as we can see, this is 2003's time evolution. In that year, they cut almost exactly 2 minutes. 1:58 was cut. Welder cut 55 seconds. Boss cut 44. Graham 13, and a couple other guys in here. Osterlin, Trent, Moore, Jimbo. That's funny. Oh, Trent with 2 untieds, eh? Statue Agent. Oh, because he discovered the Trev shot. So I guess that was a significant piece that year as well. The Trev shot saved like 6 seconds on each difficulty of Statue. You know, the record went from 226 to 220s. So that's 18 seconds right there. And then the Caverns 00 cuts is significant. So pretty remarkable stuff there. But 2004 was, I guess, a quieter year. Like, Welder had kind of tapered out at this point, and it's mostly Boss, you know? Boss cut 30 seconds. Jimbo 2. Welder only 1. And we actually didn't break a barrier this year for the first time ever. We started at 1:17.40, and we ended at 1:17.06. The biggest time cuts of the year were Silo SA 112 by Boss and Control 00419 by Boss. Very decent times, but like, I think this year was like, you know, Boss got runway 22, for example. He got a Silo untied sweep. Control untied sweeps as well. So like, he certainly did damage in the game. And you can actually kind of see, I'm pretty sure this might have been the year he was like, you know, he was playing at the tail end of like one school year, you know, March, April, June, and like didn't play anything at all until like October. He might have switched to Perfect Dark though. I think he probably switched to Perfect Dark at that point. But yeah, so 04 in the context of breaking barriers was like a fairly quiet year. But in 05, of course, we were pretty close to 116 to begin the year. And this is when, you know, Henrik gets this infamous Aztec 00 run. Chervoni gets a few untieds. Welder gets his last set of untieds in his career, including some truly amazing and signature untied records, like Streets Agent 113, which broke the 116 barrier. And so let's watch this run. Again, one of the most iconic runs in GoldenEye's history. 114 had been the record since Lookdown was discovered 3 years earlier. And, yeah, this is just a really well-played run. I remember Welder's Untieds this year were done with 1.2 control style. He had finally, like, made the switch on some stages. Depot, certainly strafed. It's easy to play 1.2. A lot of good lookdown, a lot of good strafing, and he gets one grenade launcher and plays it super, super well. And that's the ticket, you know? Two boosts. That was a nade going off, not the GL. Yeah, that kind of look for the GL is insane. And he, like, didn't... I wonder if he up-C'd, if he, like, took his hand off right C there. I think he probably did, but I'm not 100% sure. But still, you know, 1, 2, 3. Body armor. You know he's getting in the perfect line. 1, 2, 3. I think it's 347.08, if I remember correctly. Oh. It's one of those runs that, like, you know, we're not going to get Mandela affected on this one. Like, I remember that 347.08, like, till the day I die, baby. God willing. That was the end timer. So he actually got like a 113.7-ish, like a solid 113 on this run. 8.0 boosts, extremely clean. Really one of the most legendary Untieds in the game's history. Like I think that's like a lot of the runs we're gonna watch tonight are that case among the most legendary in the game's history, and certainly that got us to 116. And so we can see we're like, you know, we're making our way through the ages, but things will start to slow down now. You know, the barrier breaks are a little more few and far between. You know, there's still some action. There's still a lot of action, but you know, we started the night looking at you know, 120. Well, it's actually kind of funny. 121 in 2002, and now we're at 116 in 2005. So yeah, we're gonna not cut 5 minutes every 3 years anymore. We're lucky to cut 5 minutes in 10 years here. So let's carry on. Well, so yes, so BRL 116 is the overall time of the game. So it's like, if you add up all the world records at that time, you see, if we go to the rankings today, our overall combined time is 110.25, and that's kind of what we're working towards this episode. If we add up all these world records on each 60 stage, we get to 110.25. In 2005, at this point, we were at 116.59. And so we're kind of counting down how we cut minute by minute off the game. 2006 was significant because there was a massive time saver on train. It didn't end up breaking the barrier, but the train skip, you know, early in the year, Carl untied Train Agent. This didn't affect Train Agent. And then Henrik discovered this, and it took us from 116.43 all the way down to 116.13. You know, there's one Aztec time in here, but like basically cut 30 seconds. And so we've got to pay homage to that 30-second cut and watch one of these runs. And the most iconic one is this Henrik Train Secret Agent 131. 00 took a little longer to get optimized, but I think Henrik posted this the day he discovered the strategy, in fact. And this alone, you know, cut 12 seconds, 11 seconds from the previous record, although he did in spurts. Like he got 136 to 134. And of course, this is the technique where you can escape the train early, and so you save all the time that you would have normally taken to stray from the end of the train to the end of the level. You can, you know, Natalia hacks while you're outside. And I remember when this was actually discovered, it was kind of an interesting situation where, you know, we would have covered this not too long ago in the Aztec, in the train essay episode. But Boss had just got 142 SA. Ace posted a 141, and then Henrik discovered and revealed this strategy. And people thought Henrik was joking because, like, oh yeah, you just cut 11 seconds off the stage. Like, yeah, right. So your Eliteness, who was one of the moderators at the time, deleted Henrik's post from the world record topic. And then a few hours later, Henrik posted the videos, and the post was recovered. So it's kind of funny that, like, it was so shocking that people thought it was fake until they saw a video, like, understandably. But yeah, huge contributor to time being saved in 2006. I still remember the day. I mean, not that vividly, but I remember it. Early February 5th and 6th, 2006. What a time to be alive that was, eh? That, man, take me back. Take me back. Without that, we wouldn't have hit 115 this year, no way. But, yeah, also Elu did a lot of damage on Aztec. And, like, at this point in time, Elu, Boss, Henrik, I'm in there, cutting some time. So there's a lot going on, a lot of competition thickening up. I was always terrible at training Ladner, so I had no chance, even with the new strategy. Of course, what is interesting is that somehow, with his first ever GoldenEye world record, untitled record, at the age of 11, Ace came in here and broke the barrier, got the 115 with Bunker 200 105. Boss had gone to 106 like the previous year, probably. You know, we watched that 107, might have been 04 when Boss got 106. But Ace came in and was like, nope. See you later, baby. I'm getting 105. Pretty insane. Well, so, yeah. So, after the 105 is when Boss discovered the clipboard lure strategy. So, like, he did kind of bully him in a way. But Ace would stick around, so, you know, it wasn't like anything got, he didn't run away from the community, thankfully. You know, he's a nice lad. Let's watch Ace's Bunker 200 105. I believe Ace used 1.3 control style at this point, which uses the A button to shoot. It's the style he grew up playing. It's the same controlling movement as 1.1, so it's like disadvantaged that way and kind of slow. But that was the style he grew up with, and so his earliest runs were with 1.3. And as far as I know, they're the only world records set with 1.3 in the game's history. And we can see it's a decent run. You know, by 2006's standards, it was insane. It was like, oh my god, how can he move like this and be this good? Open the door. Ding dang. Insane. Natalia text. So like you can see, that was way better than, I mean, that alone probably saved 2 seconds off of Loner's 107. So that was a really insane warp too. Kind of a lucky warp to get boosted out, but 105. Ace is insane. Is there a 1.4 record, Mark Adam? That's interesting. I don't know that there is, but that's interesting. And then, yes. So that's, I mean, this is hard to believe. 155.59, great time. But because there's so much good competition, you know, Boss is still playing, Elu's still playing. You know, a lot of, you know, Leo Santos, Ace, myself, Chervone still playing. Again, a lot of time was getting cut. And we can see that was June 06. And, you know, some new strategies, like Bunker 200, you know, we went down to 101. That's 4 seconds cut there. Elu's cutting off Aztec. It actually wasn't that long till the next barrier break. Boss is playing control. This infamous month of February 07, which I've spoken about in many lores, where Ace and I combined for 11 or 14 untides. I got 3, and he got 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, so I got 3 Untieds in February '07, my best month ever, and Ace completely overshadowed me by getting an Untied soup on Train and lowering, you know, everything on Train. Train SA went from 129 down to 126. Double O went from 156 to 152. And the Agent went to 101 from 105. So Ace cut, Ace cut 14 seconds or something off a Train there. Oh, and he got bunkered to double O 58, which is, we just watched a 105. That 58 is insane. So a lot was happening in early '07. Might have been like one of the craziest competitive moments in the game's history. All this stuff in 107, in February '07. And then, of course, we get Clem in here. Clem going for some Untieds. And so you can see just the fierce competition resulted in a barrier being broken. It only took 1 year to get to 114. And it was this amazing... It was the biggest Untied of the year to do it. It was Boss's Caverns 00138. We're definitely going to watch that right now. Anything under 140 on Caverns 00 before we found the Japanese versions of the game is just madness to survive. This run is heroic and legendary, and as such we will dedicate to our SpeedLore champion, Sammy Limex. A huge thanks to Sammy Limex for supporting the series on Patreon. Let's watch this remarkable speedrun. Like, you literally can't describe how hard it was to survive a Caverns 00 run with no BA. The Japanese version has all the BAs left in the body armors. You know, you get 12 extra bars of health. You know, you 2.5 times your health. It's literally like, you know, back in my day, I had to walk to school uphill both ways. Like, it literally was that. It was that much harder to complete a Caverns 00 run. Like, I completed 1 or 2 ever in my life, you know, so... Before the BA. There's a boost. But you don't want a boost. You literally don't want any hits at all. And the record at this point was 142 by Wouter Ilu and Funky Buddha. And I think Wouter's 142 was the longest standing Untied at one point. So, like, we're talking a really, really strong record. That was a really well dispatched Objective B area, so, like, Boss really nailed that well. Let's see, we got hit twice so far. It's still not guaranteed to live. He could have got hit once or twice there, or there. There's a 2-bar damage. I thought he was going to hit again. Like, he could easily have not lived this run, which would have been tragic. Because it's a legendary run. 138. 4-second Untied. And that got us into 114. Like, that's crazy that we cut another minute off the game in about 1 year's time there. And I think we're going to cut another minute in not much longer. Yeah, it was really... So, like, one of the keys we kind of learned was, like, if you pass away a lot of guards here, which is what he's intentionally doing there, and he has a well-placed mine here, you can tell if your B area is really good, because if you're going back upstairs and you still see the fire of the mine, it's fast. So, like, that was perfect. He didn't get caught in it. He saw the fire fast. He throws 3 mines there, passes away all these other guards. And so there's, like, basically, like, you know, none of these guards behind him on the level. So the game's memory's freed up. Not too laggy. It helps immensely. Immensely. And in '07 here, we're sort of learning about this being a very real factor in the game. We didn't know about it too deeply yet. But insane. A legendary time. And it's sort of like, I know in this era, Boss was like, starting to worry a little bit about all these other good players rising up the ranks. Ace and Alu and Clem and a little bit myself. We're on his tails. He's been champion for 2 years at this point, and he's starting to get some pressure. But delivering that run was like magnificent. Like, again, most of the runs we're watching are among the most legendary ever, and that certainly was. But still, you can just see how fierce the competition is. Look at it's unbelievable. Boss cut 22 seconds. Ace cut 18, Ilu cut 12, Clem cut 10, I cut 7, and then Graham Maddox cut 1, which was one of the most unexpected records in the game's history. Surface 2 Agent 49, but still good on him. I can't believe he kind of speed bullied me. I got this Surface 2 Agent 50 up here in May. It was like the day after, like the weekend after senior prom for me. I was like playing at like 5 in the morning because your sleep gets all messed up on weeks like that. But only 2 months later, Greg's came and bopped my Untied. It was, hey, what can I say? I have other things to complain about, but I can't believe he really did it to me. That Greg's, he really did it to me. Not to get super sidetracked, but you can see how fierce the competition was. And so even, look, Boss's 138 was May 07. We've cut another 30 seconds by the end of the year. And so we roll into 08, and it's like, you can be damn sure we're cutting more time and getting the next barrier break. And inevitably we did. And it's not like any of these were like one strategy, like one unique strategy. It was just like this fierce competition between Ilu, Boss, Ace, Clem, myself, mostly, and we just killed it. We just annihilated the game in 07. When you really look back, it's like, holy smokes. We did cruel things to this game. And so in April 08, Ace is now 13 years old. He would break the barrier again with Control Secret Agent 408, and we will watch that run. In the YouTube version, I'm probably going to cut out a lot of this run. It's just a massive control run. It has a song in it. I don't know anything about this song. Apology by Alisana. It seems like kind of a post-rock, post-hardcore band. Never heard of them before, don't know the song. Ace chose to use it back in 2008. He was 13. I'm sure we all had similar music tastes back then. So I'm going to let this out play. You guys enjoy here on Twitch, and I'll link it on YouTube. You guys can take a look. Wow, that was amazing. What an amazing run by Ace. Control SA 408. I mean, that's still a very decent time. I don't even have that time. I think I have 410. So, Ace back in 08 is getting control times which are very, very good. This is still a top 20 time on the stage. So, that's, we're talking 15 years ago now, 14. It's insane. Yeah, I want to see Ace rewatch that run with that music. I wish he was here in this chat tonight, because that would have been hilarious to see what he had to say about it. Chat kind of spoke for itself. So, the hot topic music, high school musical version of heavy metal or screamo. Kind of amazing to think that was popular at a point. It totally was. It totally was the hot music, the trendy hit music back then. Pretty amazing. So that 408, legendary, great run, and towards through 08, Ace and Clem are really starting to take off as the top 2 players. This Boss Statue 00218 is one of the most legendary records of all time, no doubt. But it was kind of Boss's last stand here for a little while. So Clem and Ace would take off, and then so we're gonna get towards 2009. which was a very quiet year, and beyond. Indeed, picking up where we left off, 2009 was a pretty quiet year, and so was 2010, in fact. Neither in '09 or '10 would we break a barrier. We just broke it in 2008, we got to 113, and we had broken a barrier pretty much every year since. Every year leading up to that, pretty insane to think about. We got in the 113s in '08. In '07, we got into the 114s. '06, we got into the 115s. '05 into the 116s. '04, we didn't break a barrier. So '04 was the one that we didn't break one. But like all things considered, like every year, we're cutting roughly a minute worth of time off the rankings. Even in '04, we cut 34 seconds still. Okay, almost all of it was boss, which is pretty amazing. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty remarkable. In 2009 and 2010, we're a decade into playing this game. Obviously, things have slowed down, and we're not trimming that much time off of the game. However, in 2009, the one and only Mach Rutsu, Marcus Stryker, or Darth Vader, many aliases this man has, made another one of these legendary threads. What are the maxed times in the game? Now, obviously, in this case, he has much, a better grasp on things as time has gone on, and Mark's a competent player. This was very early on in his career. He had only been playing for about 3 months at this point. So, yeah, let's see what he says. Dan 53, Dan 117 essay. It's kind of ironic because he would get 116 essay, and he doesn't even wager a guess on 00. Facility 45, 54, 54. We know how that's gone. Runway. I mean, basically everywhere, if you look through his list, his times have been beaten. Does he have any times that have held up today? I mean, Frigate 58 is a pretty good guess for 2009, because in 2017 it happened, and then it's still the record. Like, that's a good guess there. Like, even his archives, like, it would be very reasonable to guess that these times are maxed on archives, and, like, they've all been beaten. So that's pretty insane to think about. Caverns, Cradle, Aztec. Yeah, they've all been beaten. Isn't that amazing? He says, wow, he thought every agent time was maxed except for Train and Aztec. That's unbelievable. And of course, what's funny is he would untie Aztec Agent and Train Agent at various points in his career. He thinks Facility 44 and Silo Agent 101 are doable. And then, so I drop in there and I say, no. Silo can go 101, 106, 118. Now, here's what's cool, in my opinion. I kind of love getting into these predictions. Silo Agent 101 has happened. 106 SA and 118 00 are still not the world records. So we haven't even gotten there yet. So it's pretty cool that, like, I can see that far ahead. Frigate 22, 57, 102. That's a great guess, too, because 22 happened with the known strategy. It's now 21. No, it's not 21 yet. Oh my god. 21's, like, believed to be possible. 57 and 102 have not yet happened. So, like, again, I've predicted, my predictions still haven't come true. Maybe they will be the maxes of the games. And then Mark, Silo SA 106. What the hell? 109 was the record this time, right? Or did I not gotten 109 yet? I got 109 about a month later. Or I got 109 a week after this post. That's kind of epic. That's really funny and epic. So a week after this post, I got 109. And he's saying 106? It's funny again because Mark untied 107 and put us pretty close to 106. And I bet you he would believe 106 is possible today. So this thread seems to mostly just be me and Mark. Henrik, Train can go to 59 if you push it. Of course, Train is now 56 by Henrik. And so it's kind of interesting in this thread, we're seeing that the players who know each level the best are kind of dropping good knowledge going ahead. Luke, Depot Double should be 49. I mean, that's an interesting take. Of course, I don't think 49 ever happened without 2.x. So this is before the discovery of 2.x. So that, like, obviously affected a lot of things. I don't think it ever happened without 2.x. Even though it's, like, possible for sure. I think Clem's talking about facility 44 here. It's possible to require near perfection. Of course, now we're at 42. But really, these kind of topics are totally pointless. Don't really accomplish anything or prove anything to say some time is possible in theory. And, you know, of course, we're having fun, but it is really funny. Huh. I mean, sometimes you see these posts, it's hilarious. So Chervone is saying, like, oh, Carl called Surface 2 53, like, in a previous topic way back in the day, and Mark up here has, like, Surface 2 Secret Agent, you know, 53 question mark. Of course, the record is way lower than that now, and then I get into it, and it's really funny. It is just so, you know, these old posters are just great to browse through and stuff. And I kind of think Mark, nah, he was not quite a troll back then, so we'll say that. I was gonna say maybe this thread was made, it was made October 19, which is the same day Clem untied Frigate SA 101. Oh yeah, but he wouldn't have known it because Henning had 101. I forget the order by now, you know, something or other. So I was thinking, did Mark make this thread to troll Clem? But I don't think that's the case at all at this point. But a funny and legendary thread. Now, as we see, 09 was a pretty quiet year. You know, I think 09 was the quietest year in GoldenEye history, and, like, there's a great chance that maybe the game would have passed away if I mean, it certainly, if Twitch didn't come around, like, it's hard to think that this would have kept playing. You know, 2012, like, boosted us up again. But it's hard to believe, like, we would have kept playing if this was the rate we were playing in 09, you know? And then in 2010, there were a few more plays being made. You know, a good deal more. You know, Clem cut off 19 seconds, so, like, he was kind of going hard himself. Ace, a couple others, Cliff, Mark, Ilu. It's so funny how this is Ilu's most recent untied as well, Surface 2 SA 50. It's so random. But the biggest untied of 2010 was Clem on Aztec Agent, and we're going to watch that run because it is amazing and epic. This was like a joke quote Ilu wrote to some Brazilian speedrunners back then. I think they were going for runway 22, and Ilu was like, if it have luck, it's easy, something like that, and they kind of ran with it. The video is amazing. I'm going to play it super low volume because it has some, you know, copyrighted music, but the thing with this run is that Clem discovers a faster glass strategy, the fastest glass strategy up until very recently. And I remember, like, him being so shocked when he found it was amazing. It was, like, genuinely amazing. So you get two backs there, go here, one, you wait for him to run on the other side, you hit the mainframe, go to the glass, run away, and they open it. And that's way faster than the stuff we were seeing earlier. And so this literally ends up cutting 4 seconds off of the world record. Like, I think if you were making a list of, like, the top 10 most legendary untieds in GoldenEye history, this has got to be on that list. And, like, I don't know how high it goes on the list, but, like, it can go high. And he even got, like, it could have been 125. That's stuck at the glass. And then he goes and hides here, which is so insane. Like, this is beyond ridiculous to go hiding here. And then he pulls the ultimate swag move. I guess it's not a bad hiding spot, but it just probably takes a little bit... Like, no one else hides here anymore. But it takes a little bit longer to get to this point. Yeah, Flicker, there's actually no Lou Untied where he hides on the opposite side of this room. Like, directly opposite. And then, look, Clem goes out in the open. Like, the true YOLO swag strategies. And pulls off the Aztec Agent 126. 4-second Untied. I mean, that's just magnificent upon magnificent. You know, biggest cut of that year, 2010. And hey, no barrier yet. When will we get to 112? Well, I know, Flicker, wouldn't that be so insane? The 2011 was another quiet year. It was only Clem and Mark. There was a couple interesting tidbits at hand. We can see that Mark cut 8 seconds and Clem cut 6. We can see on here, and we will watch this run in a little bit, Train Agent 58 is credited with having broken the 112 barrier. You know, 113 barrier into 112. The funny thing is, at this point in time, late 2011, Henning had Frigate SA 1 minute on the rankings. And it happened somewhere up, like, halfway through this list of records. So, that gave us a fake second we didn't have. As a result, Clem believed... This is fake, by the way. Trent's a strange man. Clem believed that when he got Silo Double O to 122, it broke the 113 barrier. He even titled the video, "Who Said Anything About a 113 Barrier?" His video to this day, on a channel that he no longer has access to, says, "Who said anything about a barrier?" He thought he broke the 112 barrier, 113, with this run. LC Productions presents. The strange, unusual nature of this run must mean that we must dedicate to a SpeedLore champion, and who better to dedicate it to than our longtime SpeedLore champion, the one and only Mr. Moxie. A huge thanks for supporting SpeedLore on Patreon all this time, Moxie. Let's take a look at this insane 113 barrier breaking run. It's one of those funny... Silo Double O is one of those records where it's almost never maxed. Like, even in the context of, like, what's a really good record today. You can almost always go lower. And so Clem wanted to break the barrier, and so he started playing Silo Double O. And, like, there's one quick pause there, so, like, we're doing that now. Like, you can see a lot of modern techniques. Even though, like, this is still 10, 11 years ago. We're starting to do some of that stuff now, which is pretty epic. Quick pause, another quick... So 2 quick pauses, like, that's very impressive that he was doing that back then. Warps the door. Nice. This is the technique here. Open that door. Plastique. He had 80143 pause, which is decent. This door being wide open is super good. Like, you want that for sure. Gets through here reasonably well. Oh, that was pretty decent. 5 bars. He's kind of low health, honestly, at this point. You'd want 7 or 8 bars, but you take what you get. This is tough to pull through that guy. He can really troll you hard. But PP7 plus Deke on the wall. PP7. Door, warp. Go through. I mean, the fact Clem got this in 2011, like, the world record is still only 121. Like, he could definitely get 121 pretty easily. But it shows you how good Clem is, honestly. No doubt. Warps the door. Nice boost past Ormov, holy smokes. $122. Great run. He thought he broke the barrier. Unfortunately, my friends, he did not. Due to Henning's deceitful run, having been on the rankings for about a year at this point in time. No, so Dovetail, he went PP7 then plus Steak intentionally, so that way he could like warp to PP7 at that point. Let's see, is it right here? So, because you don't want to shoot KF7 bullets at this PP7 plus Steak, because you want to switch the PP7 to shoot that guy, and then you want to warp to the KF7 here. So that was like intentionally done. You have to remember to do that. So you have to be very sharp. And just funny seeing the 2010 era comments, like, you know, even though this is a redacted level to play, it's one of the best levels to watch. Oh, and then... Oh, okay. This is so weird. Henning, 8 years ago, says David still broke the barrier. Mark's train wasn't on the rankings at the time because of no video. Like, I don't think that's true. I think he's like... What's the term? Not rewriting... Yeah, retconning. He's retconning history, I think. It was his 1 minute that made Clem think that he broke the barrier. Yeah, see, Ace. I realized Mark broke the barrier because of Henning's 1 minute. Right? Meanwhile, Henning's in here trying to... Is it even... It might be a fake Henning. No, it's the real Henning. Okay, well, whatever. What a strange... Man, what a strange man. Oh, man, that strange Henning. And then, I mean, the Clem 126, I want to show the comments as well. You know, Woody, truly epic. Great strat, Dave. Still awesome in 2017. Oh my god, no one upvoted my comment? Oh, it was only 1 month ago. I wrote a comment 1 month ago. That's funny. And it's insane there's comments from 12 years ago. So, long story short, in reality, the time that actually broke the barrier was Mark Rutsu's train agent 58 seconds. In another amazing legendary record, Mark, with this time, and I think 59 as well, held the Untied on train for like over 10 years straight or something insane. It was like nearly 10 years straight. Let's see, 59, late 2010, it was 7.5 years he had the Untied on train agent. And this is part of that lore, amazing, legendary run. And we're going to dedicate this run to an old pal, SpeedLore champion, Madry Bread. A huge thanks to you, Madry, for all your support over the years of SpeedLore. Let's enjoy this incredible, legendary Mark Rutsu Train Agent 58 on PAL, replayed on his LG LCD television. You just watch him play Train, and just like, I don't know, it's like a different plane of existence. Obviously, Henrik has the sweep on the level now, but like Mark playing Train just like feels like he's just like powerfully pushing through all the guards on a level that like, and look at like just how fast he is. It's so, I don't, I'm at a loss for words. I just cannot even describe how good Mark is on Train, let alone this being, 10, 11 years ago. Unbelievable. I'm stunned. I'm simply stunned. Perhaps does anyone have 58 today? The insane slow roll 58, baby. Yeah, literally only Mark and Henrik have 58 or better on the stage. Every other player has 59 or slower. It's so true, Mr. Moxie, it's so true. I mean, that's just a magnificent run. A beautiful run, a beautiful speed run, and a talent, a gift. We'd all love to... Mark is such a strange fellow. We'd all love to see him play again. But, he's What can you say? He's one of a kind, Mark Rutsu. I only have 4 more runs to show, scheduled to show tonight. That's kind of interesting. But let's take a look. So there's Train 58, untied when achieved, 2011. Okay, so that broke the barrier in late 2011, as we see. Only him and Clem got untieds that year again. It's like when you look at 09 having so few untieds. You look at 010 was a little bit more active, but still mostly Mark and Clemens. And then you look, I guess the reason 2010 was more active is because we discovered 2.x saved like a third of a second on most levels, plus the depot stuff happened in 2010. So without that, like 2010 would have been way quieter as well, and 2011 was pretty quiet. So like you would think the game would be dead, and maybe 1:12:59 was the final resting time of GoldenEye. But of course, Twitch comes along in 2012 and rejuvenates everybody. You know, Boss, Runway SA22, what a legendary time. Think back to the early days when people were predicting Runway Agent 22 would never happen. Pretty funny. Rutsu got Streets 112, one of the most legendary times in human history. And then, you know, Twitch is really really only 5 untieds in the first half. And then once Twitch comes along and Siglemic starts playing Super Mario 64, people are speedrunning it. Speedrunning's cool again, you know? So some untieds are happening. But still, we're quite a far away from any barrier break. We're at 1:12:14. 2013, just Ace and Mark. Again, things are not looking too pretty in terms of untieds happening. You know? 9 and 2 seconds cut by Ace and Mark. 2014, would things pick up? I mean, they did. They did. Ace decided to take over control. You know, Clem had... that's when a consistent ending was found on control. So that, like, helps a lot. People got some good times there. I mean, Jimmy Bauer's Statue Agent 218, that's an amazing time. Still the record to this day. Carl, Cradle 35, that was one of the most overdue records ever set. The Caverns stuff was probably the most significant stuff that year. It was a new strategy that cut the record from 119 down to 114, so 5 seconds were cut off a Caverns SA. And so we will watch a Caverns SA run. We'll watch Luke's 116, because it's kind of his signature level, and we haven't really watched this since the Caverns SA lore, which was 5 years ago. Hard to believe, eh? I'm going to put Betty Davis Eyes in here. I didn't even, like, check for music, but I'll play it super low, so it probably won't get picked up. So yeah, this is the one where you throw a mine, like, through the ceiling, and it destroys the Objective-C stuff. I still don't have a completion with this strategy, so it shows you how insane... It's a very difficult thing to do, and so a lot of people... It was like a mini gold rush. Mouser got 118 and untied. Luke got 116. Boss got 114. And then from there, Luke got 113 untied, stayed untied for a while, and now Wotus has 112, which has been untied for like 3 years. It's approaching LSU territory, I think. It might even be the LSU right now, which is pretty insane. I'll have to check. But yeah, the idea is instead of like shooting through the metal door, you just chuck a mine and it flies in like a winged dove spreading peace. So mine. You don't need the key card anymore as well. You used to need the key card. Oh, that's right. Dam 52. That's totally right, Hubs. So chucks the mine. It actually has to like also like fly through the unloaded wall, but also like bounce when it lands instead of just sticking to the floor, which is kind of rare. But Objective-C completes, and yeah, there we go. You got the 116, baby. Very nice time by Luke. I think that was his first career untied as well, which is pretty legit. Oh yeah, and then he got 113 by the end of the year. So that's very nice. And as you can see, we're getting down to 112. We're getting there, baby. We're getting there. First career untied. He even predicted that 114 will 100% happen in 2014, and it happened like 2 days later. It's kind of funny. Like, he posted this on April 4th. He's like, 114 is going to happen this year, because like his run wasn't perfect. And then 114 happened literally the next day. That's always kind of funny to see, you know? Oh, and then, so 2014, so we're at 112, we're not quite at 111. 2014 was when I saw fit to make another prediction thread. What are the max times? And I linked the one that we read from 01, I linked to Mark's from 09, and now here's where it gets very, very silly. I really go, you know, all the way out there with this, you know. This is me, how do you put it? At my best, when I'm like a silly, kind of edgy troll, it's like there's like a truth to everything, and like it's you know, positive and meaningful. It's like a little bit funny and edgy still, but it's pushing the boundaries, right? At my best, we'll say. And this thread is very much that. Some of the stuff here is pretty insane and has not yet been achieved. But like, I put stuff in bold red that I thought was maxed. Runway Site 22, that's still the record. Surface 248, I was wrong about that. We discovered our leaning. We could throw the mine from further away, so that broke that. Bunker 2 got broken because of the jail cell warp, which I didn't predict back then. Cradle 34, I was just wrong. See, that's a great question, Burazu. I don't know. I didn't add it up. Like, I probably should have. I predicted the Depot 23 before it happened. So I was wrong about Depot 3946. But a lot of stuff is pretty insane. Like the jungle, we're currently at jungle 4952. Actually, we're at 5152. But like, that's pretty good. Caverns 1 minute, 111, 127. We're not there yet. Aztec, we are like 1 second off on Agent and Secret Agent right now, which is pretty insane. And then 130, that's totally doable. Egypt 44s, that's right. Although I think 43 is possible. A lot of people think Streets 110 is possible, and like, we'll get into that a little bit later. Archives 15, 53, 52, that's the records now. Statue 217s, totally. The funniest one I have is Damn 52, SA 115, 145. And the boys really thought that was funny because, like, Weister posts his tool-assisted speedrun, which is only a 146. Now, mind you, I believe that White Ted with the TASPAP has below 145 now. Of course, I can't find his YouTube channel here, but I believe the piggyback strategy, you could theoretically get 145, and so I made this guess thinking like, surely one day we will find something that breaks Damn 00 and get 145. And like, we're still at 154, we're still 9 seconds off, but like, maybe we found that thing, like maybe it'll happen. So Frigate 2258, I mean, there's some funny stuff. Ace is predicting a lot of... Did everything on Ace's list come true? I think so. Everything has so far, like Bunker 101, Silo 107. Okay, so Silo 00, 119, 120 has not happened yet, but totally could. These have happened. All of these have happened. Control 355 has happened. He got it. This stuff... Yeah, totally. So Aztec 00 hasn't happened to like 131 yet. And then he says stuff that would be pretty epic and insane, and like, these have mostly happened as well, except for Statue Agent 217. And of course, our Cradle 34s is because we didn't know about the game break. You know, remember the strategy where you kill Trev off the drone, and then he also drops a nade, which blows up the console. That made 33 possible. Like, we didn't know about that back then. Like, sometimes we're guessing for times, but other times they just kind of happen. And Yeah, it's kind of funny because there's only a few posts, me and Ace, and then people are asking like, when's the 2018 update? And I think after I put this look, everyone wants it. After I make this lore, I will make the I'll make the 2018. I will do it. Yeah, when will the last Untied achieved ever be? That's a great question, you know? And look, even in 2018, was there a newer version of this post? Like, I'm gonna make it once I get this lore uploaded on YouTube. And so if you wanna chat and post, come to the forums and make a post, make some predictions. Hi, aliens who are uncovering our history millions of years from now. Yeah, we are dumb. When is the last Untied ever? That's a great question, and who knows? Okay, back to some runs. That was a fun little detour. 2015, we finally got a new barrier break. It was as a result of Clem Untied sweeping on Aztec. Again, this was like kind of the grand finale of the Aztec SpeedLore episode, but Clem finally, after all these years, got his first ever Untied sweep. And so we'll watch that 131, you know, really another signature run of his career. And yes, Mark Adam dug up the damn 00 TAS. So this is with the piggyback strategy. So again, I predicted 145, and of course, I just skipped ahead to the basement here. This was revealed only last summer in the TAS pap. Yeah, sure, Flicker. He had some Untied sweeps in Perfect Dark. That's right. And so it's kind of insane. Like, I just sensed that eventually something insane would happen on Damned Below. No idea what it was. I was predicting lower than the TAS, but in due time, you know, it happens. So you break that alarm, go here. You lure this guy. He goes off the ledge. You piggyback, and you shoot and blow up this alarm. Which can only be done while falling off the dam because of the way things load. The task gets 134. I think if a human were to pull this off, I mean, even 150, 140, like 145 is pushing it for a human. But it shows you, like, who knows what the future will bring, you know? So that's cool. Yeah, let's watch this Clem Aztec SA 131, which got us to the 111 barrier, which is pretty insane. This run is amazing. This is like maybe like Clem has a lot of insane runs, but this one is so insane. Got him to his first ever Untied sweep and broke a barrier. Got some redemption for the silo trollery, the heading trollery. This run's going out to our final SpeedLore champion of the night, our good pal Soul O'Rock. A huge thanks, Soul, for supporting SpeedLore on Patreon. Let's take a look, baby. Clem was thrilled. You get the vintage Clem sounds as well. Oh yeah, the audio is like all in vintage Clem fashion. You get audio is out of sync as well, of course. Wouldn't happen any other way. Oh, I think he's like watching Boss or someone else play Aztec as well, it sounds like.
Let's go.
That's why the sound is kind of messed up. It's like in the way.
Oh my god, this run's insane. Come on.
That's
the best run I'm ever going to get on Aztec. I got to really clutch this.
It was insane.
This is the best run I'm ever going to get. I have to clutch this. I'm never going to get a run this good again. This run's insane. I gotta wait till my nerves go down here. Okay. I'm waiting for my nerves to go down. Let's go. I did it! I got a sweep. It's over.
If I remember correctly, I think I was in chat watching this run. And everyone was in shock. Everyone was just completely... Like, the record was 134, and so, like, we're expecting 133, 132.
I did it. I did it, dude. I fucking did it! Woo! I did it! I fucking did it! I did it!
I think that was a punctation reference there.
God, dude, this is it. I don't know what this is, but this is it. Yes! 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 Dude, yes! Dude, yes! Dude! Holy shit, dude, this is insane. This is insane, dude. Oh my god, dude. Holy shit. I'm fucking pumped about this one. Oh my god, dude.
It's hard to believe this was 7 years ago.
That run was fucking godlike. Oh my god, dude, that run. It was fucking godlike.
It was.
That was a fucking god run. I crushed the 112 barrier, dude. 111.58.
There he references it, you know, and I'm sure in other lore episodes we've heard that being referenced every now and then, but not quite to the extent that we're taking a look tonight, you know?
Holy shit. I was not expecting to get 131. Hold on,
Amazing run. He did crush the barrier, as you can see here. You know, crushed the barrier. 112.01 to 111.58 on his first ever sweep. It was a super meaningful moment in his career, because that was like the one thing he had always been missing in GoldenEye was an untied sweep. And players who are not as good as him overall, like myself or Henrik, had achieved sweeps, you know. So it was always it was just always missing from his career, and he finally nailed it there. So it's pretty epic and legendary. But of course, I mean, now we're really getting to the late stages of the game. We're getting optimized. How much more time is going to plausibly come off this game? And we're going to see not much, you know. So in 2016, there were only 10 seconds cut, and that's going to be the trend for the next few years. Streets 111, Caverns 130, everything was a 1 second cut. 1 second, 1 second. That's it. 2017 saw, again, everything 1 second cut, except for Luke's Aztec 135. That was a really great that was a great run. One of the best runs ever hoarded was Luke's 135. That's only 2 second cut of the year. You know, we watched so much Aztec tonight already, and you know, some trimming down on runway 00, some you know, Dan 52, of course. 2017 was a funny time in the community for sure. It's a good point, Burazu, and we will get into that at the very end. Is like, what untides remain? That's basically the question that we're getting down to. What untides remain? And Aztec 00, something that like always can be untied more and more, you know? 2018, there was 16 seconds cut. They were all 1 second cuts. Carl and Clem were the big cutters there. Paydos got Egypt Untieds, which were only tied recently. Like, those are pretty insane, honestly. But I mean, these Untieds are getting so good. Egypt 44, Train 00148, still untied, by the way. Bunker 120, Tier 1. You know, Runway 28 was untied forever. Aztec 123 was only beaten recently. You know, Bunker 116 probably maxed. You know, the Cradle 33s happened, so there was 3 seconds that got cut. That was like the biggest deal that year. You know? 2019, again, 19 seconds cut. There was 1 2-second cut, Aces, Bunker 2, 42. And again, Bunker is a level where, like, 2-second cuts seem to happen. Let's watch this run for some fun, this Ace 42. It's a cute little run. This actually happened just after I had done the lore on this episode. The record was 44. Clem had it untied for years. It was one of the longest standing untieds ever. Ace tied it. And then I was still like, okay, but sure, but why hasn't no one used the TAS route, which was this route? And it was pretty hard to pull off, but I literally did the lore, and then Ace is like, yeah, you're right, let me try this technique, and he got a 2-second untied. And that was like the first little cam you saw right away, where he leaned in. That was to lure the clipboard guy here. That was the TAS route. You know, a couple seconds faster than the old route. And so Ace was able to get a 2-second untied this way with pretty relative ease. A great run by Ace. And so that's 2019. We're at oh yeah, that's right. Okay, so again, so these have been some pretty productive years. We're kind of flying through, but like 1 second at a time, nothing too insane in terms of a big time cut. But, you know, if you go 13 seconds, 16, 19, you start to set up another barrier break. And we are indeed at the final barrier break that we've seen, the 110 break. And the 110 was broken by, you know, unless someone has been hoarding since 2019, it would be insane. But the 110, the 111 to 110 was broken by Cali W, which I think is very fitting because he's kind of the new age top grinder, insane untied getter. And he got probably his best record ever, Surface 1 SA 146, which was unhoarded in the Project 2020 hoard. And I mean, look at these other untieds this year. It's like Runway 21, Facility 0051, Depot 45. Like, every untied here is insane. But yeah, the record that set us to 110, Cali's 146, is certainly among the most insane. Over 1,000 dupes, 11-1 ratio, closing run of Project 2020, which was the hoard with the most untieds ever to this point, I think. So this is going to be the last run we watch tonight. It's an amazing, amazing run, and glorious. Let's take a look. Just so many boosts. He actually missed one boost there, didn't matter. Like, it's hard to believe this record. I mean, it's so far. It's like an alien spaceship record. It's not a record that like seems possible, and like only a couple people have 147. In fact, it's several runs that were frames faster than this one, but that's the way the game is, man. Low lag or whatever. Like only a few people have 147. Only these two, only Gus and Wotus had it when he got 146. So it's like just a magnificent record. So good that it's just unbelievable. Yeah, there was a back boost, the infamous back boost here, where he like messes up a self boost right there. But it's like that literally may have lost like no time. Like it's one of those back boosts that just wasn't as bad as back boosts can be, So yeah. In 2020, the biggest time cut was like Surface 2, like 3 seconds got trimmed there. Like Surface 2 is interesting because like Fernando got this 2-second cut. It was like 123, got 121 with a shot through the fence on the third camera, and then JD Black and Clem used that plus some other techniques to get 120 and 118, which is insane. So, again, it seems like for the past few years, we're getting like, 10 seconds, 13 seconds, 16, 19, 14 in 2020, 2021, 14 again. So it seems like the last few years we've been getting, 10 to 20 seconds trimmed. And so if that trend holds, we will get to 109 in a few years, 2 or 3 more years. If we look, and what's interesting is that in 2022, we've seen a 5-second untied, which is the biggest untied we've seen in years, and years. So it really shows you, like, is 109 possible? Will 109 happen? And I think we have to probably say yes. And but a lot of people believe that at this point, with 20 plus years of knowledge, maybe 109 is the last barrier to be broken. Maybe 108 never happens, right? It's like we're gonna, right now, to end this episode, we're gonna look down this whole list of records and discuss which ones can be beaten or not. But it's possible to find like maybe 25 seconds worth of cuts. But is it possible to find 85 seconds of cuts? Like, that is asking a lot. So it's like, let's start. And we'll start by being relatively conservative instead of like, being too insane. So let's say let's say on Damn that the piggyback strategy never happens on console. It's too difficult. A lot of people believe like 115 can probably happen with like a new strategy where you shoot through the windows. So it's about 1 second there. And Damn 00 153 with like an insane boost ratio. So let's say 2 seconds there. Facility, pretty damn close to maxed. We'll leave it at that. Same on runway. 21 SA is a dream, is a pipe dream. Who knows? Surface 1, it'd be intuitive to say that 146 00 could happen because 146 is there on SA, but he gets an 11-1 boost ratio, and like I don't think you can survive that on 00. So like maybe not. Like maybe Surface 1 stays this way forever. Bunker 1, I know Joris like believes in the theory of 15 Agent, but like it's hard to see that as being really viable. 20's a tier 1 time. I doubt that gets untied in anytime soon. So that's insane. Let alone tied. 101 00 can probably get taken down 1 second. If Boris runs directly into the mainframe room, it can probably happen. So let's just say 1 minute happens there. We're now cut down a second on one on Dam SA, one on Dam 00, and one on Bunker 100. That's 3 seconds. We've cut 3. We need to cut 26. Silo, I would say 106 can happen. And 00 can definitely go like 119, maybe even 118. If we watch just the ending of Ace's 121, he gets like kind of stuck on Ormov at the end. So it's like very reasonable to say that like 119 can happen. But like again, he has like a very perfect run, gets an insane boost, you know, down the hallway to the camera. But like even so, you'd say, okay, get that same run again, and then don't get stuck behind Ormov. You know, and he warped the Ormov door on pace for 119. So let's say like comfortably 2 seconds can come off of Silo 00 and 1 off of SA. Now we're at 6 seconds total. Frigate 21 is possible with Control Style 2.3. It would be really epic and insane, but it's possible. So like that's 7 seconds. Ace has failed 103.00 with hostages completing, so like 103 is possible there, but you need insane luck. That's another second. So let's say we're at 8 seconds saved now. Some people believe in Surface 2 SA46. Let's go with it. And that's 9 seconds now. Surface 2 00, like I think Ilu had a very close 116 fail. So that's 2 seconds. Let's say we're at 11 seconds cut now. Reasonable. I think lower might even be theoretically possible on Surface 2 00, but like, let's leave that 2. So we're at like 11. Bunker 2, these are pretty fresh untieds. I think Ace sees like 36 and 49 as being possible. So let's just go with that. 3 more seconds, we're at like 14 total. Statue 217, Agent would be insane, but it is bound to happen. So we'll cut 1 there. We're at 15 seconds. We need to find 11 more seconds to win. You know, Archives, we'll leave Archives as is. Streets, people believe in 110, and I kind of believe in 153, but like, let's leave it as is here. Samus Depot. Train, I mean, I think if we scroll down, we can basically find 10 seconds on Aztec. Because the new innovations have Gus using the crouch strategy, which is the fastest known glass open. It's faster than the Clemens fast glass technique. Like, you crouch into this guard, the guards, you're invisible, they no longer see you, the glass opens. It's the fastest known strat, and so that's how Riolo got a 5-second untied here. And 125 SA is like actually insane, but 125 can like maybe happen, because even though Gus didn't do it here, if we go back to Aztec SA, we can see that Yanni did a run where he safely hides behind the box at the end in the big room. And so this means you can survive runs with health that he didn't use the crouch strat as the glass strat. He uses the mainframe glass, as we'll see here. See, you lure this guy in the mainframe, but he has 1 bar of health, and he can survive getting hit only once in the big room. So it's like, by hiding behind this box. And so if it stands to believe that Gus saved 5 seconds on SA, cutting from 130 to 125, it would be reasonable to think that cutting 5 seconds off 00 is not unfathomable, and that Aztec 134 could go to 129. You know, so that's 5 seconds right there. And we're only looking to cut 5 more now, you know. Aztec Agent can probably go to 120 or 119. His 122 is decent, but not like, you know, frame perfect. And so we're getting pretty damn close to 110. But like, at this point, we're still like squeezing it. We need to squeeze out a couple more seconds. Like, maybe Caverns, certainly Caverns SA 111 can happen because Wotus had a bad stuck on his 112. Egypt 43, Ace believes in that. So that's like 2, I think we're at 110 flat now, and they just need 1 more Insane Untied. And like, Gromick is in chat saying that like, you know, close to 110 is possible on Surface 2, 00 Agent. And like, maybe that's what's going to be required. Maybe an insanely insane record like that is going to be what's required to get to 110 flat, you know? And, but given how hard we're stretching our mind to get to 110, okay, yes, I mean, so there you go. There was a second we didn't really account for either, Gromick. So like, that's, you know, it's going to take something insane like that, like Streets 110 or, you know, something like that to get it done. Oh, no, that's a good point too, Burazu. So you're right. If you skip the BA, because Riolo did crouch but got BA, if you did crouch and then skipped BA, you could save 2 or 3 more seconds there and get like 122 on Aztec Essay. So you're right. Like, clearly we can get to 109.59 with insane records over the next 2, 3, 4 years. I'd predict 109 probably happens late 2023 or early 2024 would be my prediction. And I hope whoever gets the Untied to do it will clip that specifically and reference it in some way when it happens. That may, you know, late 23, early 24. But it's like, given how much we're really, really, really pulling away to get 109, I have to believe that's the last barrier in GoldenEye speedrunning. I have to believe that barring some insane game-breaking thing that saves 20 seconds on a stage, we're never getting to 108. And I think with 25 years now of looking at this, we can kind of confidently say that. But then again, who knows? You know, there is this post, you know, what will the last Untied ever achieved be? And like, we don't know. And like, we'll never know, you know? It's more realistic that maybe all the controllers and consoles stop working before people stop playing. So, yeah, it's really a crazy thing to think about. And I really wanted to set up the barrier being broken in a lore because we are so close to having it happen. It's probably only, you know, 2-ish years away. Maybe less, because there's a lot of time to be cut off at Aztec on these, with the new innovations there. It could happen this year. Maybe it'll happen this year. It'll be insane. But I really want to drive home the point of why it's so significant. And it'll be maybe the most significant day in GoldenEye history when that happens. And I think that's a pretty cool thing. And I'm glad to have shared that with you all. And, you know, now we know what to watch for. What will the day be when the overall combined time of GoldenEye goes to 109.59? Indeed, my friends, thank you all for coming out and chatting tonight. Everyone in the Twitch chat here, everyone on YouTube commenting, and of course, all of the wonderful SpeedLore legends here. A huge thanks for all your support, and of course, we still love playing and doing these GoldenEye SpeedLores. I posted an update to my Patreon. I hope going ahead for the next few months at least to do 2 lores a month. I hope DLTK lores halfway through the month, and another lore, a more typical lore towards the end of the month. I actually held a little poll there, and I was surprised that people want to see Perfect Dark lore, which I kind of put in the back of my mind, but maybe it's time. No promises. Maybe it's time for Perfect Dark lore once again. But in the meantime, I'll keep you updated Patreon is the best place to stay updated. Patreon.com/SpeedLore. Watch this space for more updates on upcoming lores. But a huge thanks to everyone who appreciates these speed lores. You're all the reason why I'm still here, sharing my knowledge and love of GoldenEye's speedrunning after all this time. So that'll do it for tonight. A huge thanks for watching. Stay true, my friends, and I will see you in the next stream or video. Good night.